Hi everyone, welcome back to Faith in Flour. If you're new here, my name is Robin. We live in the Austin, Texas area, and as you probably have heard, Texas, along with about 75% of the lower 48 states, have been experiencing unprecedented winter weather. We had an ice storm followed by about 6 inches of snow, and while it's beautiful, it is causing a lot of hardships for people. But in today's video, I am just showing you how we have embraced the situation and are trying to enjoy it as much as possible. Early on the first morning of the snow, Patrick and I took Austin for a walk, and we just enjoyed this beautiful winter scene that we just do not see here in this part of the country. If you're experiencing snow and ice in your area for the first time in decades, let me know in the comment section. Tell me where you're from and what's going on where you live. The temperatures in the morning were in the single digits, and so the threat of frostbite is very real. So we decided to come inside and warm up and do a few things before heading back out when the sun was out and things started to warm up a little bit later in the day. This morning felt like the perfect time to whip up a batch of sourdough biscuits. I showed you guys this recipe briefly in a previous video, but today I'm going to walk you through it in case you're interested, and I'll also have the recipe down in the description box. I also have a hack for you that I didn't share before, and it's not a part of the original recipe, which really makes this come together fast. In the bowl of a stand mixer, mix together 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons of sugar, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, a teaspoon of kosher salt, and 3/4 teaspoons of baking soda. The recipe calls for a 1/2 cup of unsalted butter that's frozen. I am using salted butter, that's a personal preference, and it's just very cold from the refrigerator, and this is the hack. I'm going to cut the butter into small pieces, and then I'm going to add it to the stand mixer and let the stand mixer do the work. The recipe calls for frozen butter so that you can use a box grater and grate the butter into small pieces. You can also do it the traditional way and just use a pastry cutter, but I find that adding the butter to the flour mixture and letting my stand mixer do the work is even easier. I start the stand mixer off on low speed and then I increase it to about medium, and I'm just looking for the mixture to be sort of a coarse meal texture or for the butter to be in sort of pea-sized pieces. To a cup of active sourdough starter, I add a 1/2 cup of buttermilk. We love making these biscuits so much that when I feed my sourdough starter, I have started measuring out 1 cup and setting it aside for biscuits so that whenever I have the whim to make them, I will have that ready. Then you can add your wet ingredients to the dry right in the bowl of your stand mixer. Then blend everything together with your stand mixer on low speed, but just until everything comes together. You don't want to overmix it. Working on a lightly floured surface, you can knead the dough just until it comes together, and then using a rolling pin, roll the dough into 1.5 inch thick rectangle and cut about 8 to 10 rounds using a 2-inch biscuit or cookie cutter. biscuits didn't come out quite as picture perfect as in the last video, but I promise you they still taste amazing. And Peyton had some of the gluten-free Biscuit biscuits that he loves, so we were set for a really nice breakfast. Because we knew that the storms were coming, we decided to prepare by filling up some water tanks in case we didn't have drinking water available. These came from our RV and they are meant for storing water, so hopefully if we had a pipe burst or something like that, we would still have some drinking water available. And while I was here in the laundry room, I had to just peek out and take in this view. We just don't get to see snow like this very often. And we also filled up a bathtub. This is something that we learned while living on the East Coast. You do this if there's a coming hurricane or ice storm or anything like that, because especially if you have well water, when you lose power, you won't have water either. With the temperatures being so low, there's a threat that the pipes could burst, and so this way you will have water for flushing toilets and you can boil it for drinking if need be. As we started listening to the news, we were learning about the power outages in the area, and we decided to do our part and conserve energy as much as possible. We also learned that our neighborhood's supply of propane was dangerously low, so they asked us not to use the stove or the heat as much as possible. So we turned down the thermostat really low, and I got out some frozen white chili that I had in the freezer and put it in our Instant Pot to warm it up. I'll put that recipe down in the description box too in case you're interested. This white chili or bean soup is really great served topped with some avocado and alongside some corn chips. This made a really great lunch that warmed us up and prepared us to spend a little time outside enjoying the snow. We had a great time outside, meeting up with some of our neighbors and seeing how everyone was experiencing this Texas snow. Everyone was super innovative with ideas for making sleds out of things that they found in their garage, and all of the dogs were having a blast playing with each other in the snow. Next to our street, there's access to trails that we love to use, but we have never seen them covered with snow like this, and it was just so beautiful.
What if the world had more of your smile? What if the wind could spread your love? What if your sweetness could reach everyone? There'd be no wars. Birds will sing about your heart. Maybe the trees will whisper the word. Maybe the sun will spread your joy to the ones who lost their hope. Fill my head with roses. I can't help but dream away. Standing on a field with you and flowers everywhere. Maybe there is a star with your name. One thing I know is that there should be. There is no one a heart as pure, no, not like yours. Dreaming of you. of your smile? What if the wind could spread your love? What if your sweetness could reach everyone? There'd be no wars.
I mentioned it previously, but I have been so inspired by the Home Edit, both their book and the Netflix show. So I thought it might be a great day to take some of this inspiration and do a little project with Peyton. I've been gathering some things to do a little bit of an overhaul in our pantry, using some of the inspiration that I've gathered from the Home Edit, but I'm not quite ready for that, and that's going to be a big project. So be on the lookout for that a little later on. But for today, I got Peyton to help me out with reorganizing a bookshelf that we have up in our family room, sort of media area. And so this bookshelf is pretty well organized, but it needs a deep cleaning. So I thought if we took everything off, we could rearrange everything in rainbow order. If you're not familiar with the Home Edit, this rainbow system of organization is sort of their signature. Items, and this works especially well for books, are sorted in the color of the rainbow. So red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. In the book, they explain why this design decision is especially pleasing to the eye, but it's also a great organizational tool. So if you take something off the shelf, like a red book, you'll know to put it back in the red section. So this is easy for anybody to use. With that goal in mind, Peyton helped me clear the bookshelves. This project was great for a day like this. I had an excuse not to clean because I couldn't vacuum or run the washer or dryer, so this we could do without power, and also because we were keeping the house so cold, we could keep warm. As you can see, it's been a while since we emptied out the bookshelf to give it a good cleaning, so today was the perfect opportunity. Peyton removed most of the surface dust with our e-cloth extendable duster, and I just had to laugh when I saw how he could expertly avoid the coin in the middle of the shelf. After that, I just used some Method Wood for Good cleaner to clean off the shelves a little bit more thoroughly, make sure that we got them really clean because it's probably going to be a while before we remove all of these books again. Then came the work. We decided to sort each book into a pile according to the color of its spine. We set up the piles against the wall in rainbow order so that we could put each book in its proper pile, and as we did that, we could edit out any books that we knew we didn't want to keep and set those aside for donating. Once that was done, we decided to put all of the books that were part of a set together on the first shelf. started off by keeping each set in numerical order, for example, volume 1, 2, 3, etc. But we decided that we wanted to try this design aesthetic for the sets as well, so we rearranged each set in rainbow order. At about this point in the project, Peyton bailed. I think I had exhausted his limit for this sort of thing, but he was actually a huge help because the sorting was the part that took the longest. And as you can see, I had no trouble keeping warm. But I was more than ready to take a break when Patrick brought me a nice hot cup of tea. It just took a few more minutes of tweaking, and here was the result. We decided to display this large volume set that was Patrick's when he was a child on top of the bookshelf, along with some very large oversized books that didn't fit on the shelf well. Then on the first shelf, we had all of the sets arranged in rainbow order, and we were really pleased with the way that turned out. On the 4 shelves below, according to size, we had smaller books arranged in rainbow order on the first 2 shelves and larger ones on the bottom 2. I wasn't 100% sure how much of a difference this was going to make, but I really love it, and Patrick and Peyton loved it too. It was amazing to see how this little project could transform our boring bookshelf into an eye-catching display. And it really was the perfect project to turn some inspiration from the home edit into a bite-sized, achievable project for a day like today. If you enjoyed today's video, let me know by giving me a thumbs up. It was really fun to share kind of a different day around here with you. If you are new to my channel, I want to invite you to subscribe. Subscribing is easy and free. All you have to do is click on my picture. Thank you so much for spending some of your time with me here today. Stay safe and warm, and I will see you in the next video. Have a wonderful week.